Hello. In this video, I will be highlighting the transportation part of the health and wellness exhibit in the Chaska Historical Society. Transportation. Perhaps you've grumbled about having to wear your seatbelt, having to buy another car seat for your child, or having to find the money for a new vehicle when yours has been totaled in an accident. The alternatives, as history shows, are not pleasant. Transportation during the horse and buggy days, with automobiles and trains either riding them or crossing the tracks, were fraught with dangers. Horse-related dangers. From runaways to wagons overturning, accidents surrounding horse-related travel were not unusual in early Chaska. A serious accident happened in 1899 to Mrs. Adam Riesgraff after a dog that she and her child were passing by spooked her horses. She and the child were jolted out of their wagon, resulting in the woman getting a compound fracture in her knee. Julius Kalbus and Anton Schmieg both had to deal with runaway horses. They were both lucky in that they didn't lose their lives. John Halquist, in 1890, ended up with broken legs and other injuries when his wagon overturned. Trains. Trains arrived in Chaska in 1871. Though they were heralded as a great amenity for passengers and cargo, especially for shipping lumber and brick, they too came with their dangers. Crossing signs were not mandated in Minnesota until 1925, and crossing arms came many years later. Chaska, with its two railroad companies meeting within downtown city limits, had its share of railway accidents. In 1888, Emil Schlink lost his life after a train ran over the lower part of his body. Frank Lewandowski, while attempting to board a moving train, mangled both of his legs in 1897. Despite an attempt to save his life by amputating his legs, Lewandowski died and was buried at Guardian Angel Cemetery. Levi Brew and Richard Neubauer also lost their lives in 1906. Even after crossing signs were mandated in 1925, lives were lost. The addition of crossing arms at the meetings of both tracks and highly traveled roads meant fewer accidents in Chaska, resulting in railways continuing to ship sugar beets to Chaska for processing and later liquid sugar for storage. Today, the railroads no longer operate in downtown Chaska, and the rails have been removed. Local railroad safety is still important, though, for the rail lines that run across northern Chaska and in Shakopee. Automobiles in early Chaska. The first automobiles arrived in Chaska around the year 1900. Due to the rarity and novelty of automobiles, they had to share the roads designed for horses, buggies, and wagons. The novelty, especially of automobiles, piqued the curiosity of people, but also made them clueless. In 1906, Lambert J. Weller took his and his neighbor's kids for a quiet ride around town, using his automobile. As the car was pulling down the street, however, a 7-year-old child called John L. Smith crossed the street in front of the vehicle, then stopped and backed up directly in front of the oncoming automobile. In December of 1914, Ben Liverman, who was described by the Chaska Herald as a fast and fearless driver, was killed and a friend seriously injured as they drove Ben's sisters-in-law to the railroad station in Shakopee. The women were about to board a train for the return to work after Christmas holiday at home. The roads were icy, sleet was falling, and the car went out of control on the Old Indian Trail, as the road was called. The car came to an abrupt stop after hitting a tree, leading to Lieberman dying of a broken neck. The two women who had been sitting in the back seat were shaken, but not seriously injured. In 1910, Minnesota state traffic laws finally set the speed limit in cities and villages at 8 miles per hour, and it reduced overcrossings to 4 miles per hour. Elsewhere, the speed limit was as high as 25 miles per hour. In 1915, Minnesota had 86,000 automobiles. The Wall Street Journal reported the average price for an automobile was $980. Adjusting for inflation, that would be $30,500 today. Carver County had 907 automobiles in 1915, or one for every 22 people. Seatbelts, however, were not standard equipment until after 1959, and it was not until 1986 that Minnesota, although only partially, mandated wearing them. Thank you for watching.